On Valentine's Day, my girlfriend sent me a message saying she was heading out to dinner with her friends instead, and that we'd celebrate the next day. I responded with a quick, sure thing. Then I uploaded a short clip of myself handing over the expensive jewelry I'd purchased to a local shelter. The online world went wild over it, until she caught sight of the post. I'm not the type who treats Valentine's Day like a major event. For me, it's just another weekday. My girlfriend of 3 years, Jessica, however, saw it differently. To her, Valentine's Day was the ultimate showcase of romance. A time for extravagant surprises, lavish presents, and above all, a highly visible display of love tailored for her online audience. I went along with it because it kept her content, and I believed I cared deeply for her. At least, that's what I told myself. This particular year, I'd pulled out all the stops. I'd booked a table weeks ahead at one of the top spots in town. I'd arranged for an over-the-top bouquet to arrive at her workplace. And sitting on my desk, inside a sophisticated navy blue case, was a diamond pendant that had set me back more than my very first vehicle. I was prepared to perform my role in her elaborate Valentine's production. Around midday, while I was deep in a meeting with a client, my phone vibrated. It was a message from her. "Hey love, I'm really sorry about this, but my friends are having a complete crisis over their relationships. We've decided to have an impromptu girls' night dinner instead. I hate doing this, but they truly need my support right now. We'll make it up tomorrow, I swear. Love you lots." I read the message over and over for a solid minute, the letters starting to blur. It wasn't the change of plans that stung. It was the light, offhand tone she used. The total lack of consideration for my effort, for the arrangements I'd made. The automatic expectation that I'd simply be available the following day, ready and waiting. And that line about an impromptu girls' night dinner. I was familiar with her circle. The only crises they typically faced involved missing out on a designer sale. I'm a calm person by nature. As a financial advisor, my career revolves around spotting trends, and I'd been noticing a troubling pattern with Jessica for quite some time. The growing air of expectation, the way she'd comment on her friends' luxurious gifts with a hint of envy directed at me. The quiet but persistent jabs about my steady career and my supposed lack of excitement. This message wasn't an isolated incident. It was the concluding piece of evidence in an unmistakable downward trajectory. I sent back a brief response, sure thing. Then I set my phone aside, stepped out of the meeting briefly, and returned to my office. I stared at the navy case on my desk. $5,000 worth of sparkling stone, intended as a token of my devotion to a woman who'd just swapped it for a chatty evening with her group. A sudden wave of sharp insight hit me. The relationship wasn't merely struggling. It was a poor allocation of resources, and it was time to divest. But I wasn't going to simply exit quietly. She'd turned her dismissal of me into something public. I decided to turn my liberation into a public statement, wielding her preferred arena, the online spotlight, against her. Update 1. The initial phase of my approach was straightforward. I phoned the restaurant and canceled our booking. I contacted the flower shop and rerouted the arrangement, sending it not to our apartment, but to the reception area of a nearby pediatric hospital. Then I grabbed the jewelry case and called it a day at work. My next stop was a respected facility called Haven House, a prominent shelter for women on the opposite side of the city. It served women and kids fleeing difficult home situations, relying entirely on community support and contributions. I entered and requested to meet with the director, a warm yet straightforward woman in her 60s named Margaret. I introduced myself and shared my purpose. I explained that I had a Valentine's gift no longer required by the person I'd bought it for, and I wished to contribute it to their cause. I said they could decide its use, perhaps auction it for funds or present it to a resident rebuilding her life from scratch. Margaret seemed stunned. She lifted the lid, her expression shifting as she saw the pendant. "This is extraordinarily kind," she said hesitantly. "Are you certain?" "I've rarely felt more certain about a decision," I replied. Then I made my key play. I took out my phone. "Margaret," I said, "this might sound odd, but could I record a quick video here? I won't include your face or anyone else's, just a few words from me. I believe it could inspire others." She paused, but after I outlined my intent to transform personal letdown into uplift and motivate generosity, she consented. I positioned my phone on a nearby surface, capturing only myself, Margaret's hands displaying the open case, and the shelter's emblem in the background. Then I started filming. I kept it concise, genuine, and direct. I avoided naming Jessica. I skipped details about feeling rejected. I simply shared the facts, presented positively. Hello all, I started. I'm Alex. It's Valentine's Day today, and like many others, I had arrangements in mind. I'd picked out these flowers and this pendant for someone very special to me. But circumstances shift, plans evolve, and I faced a decision. I could dwell on disappointment, or I could channel it into something meaningful. I indicated the pendant. This item was meant to represent affection for one individual. Now, it'll stand for possibility for several. I'm at Haven House, an amazing group that supports women and children in rebuilding their lives. I'm contributing this to aid their vital efforts. I gazed straight at the lens. So if your Valentine's didn't unfold as expected, know you're in good company. And perhaps the most effective path to mending your own heart is assisting others in healing theirs. Happy Valentine's Day, folks. I ended the recording, expressed my gratitude to Margaret, and departed. I headed home, made minor edits to include the shelter's site and contribution link, then shared it. Not on my private profile, but on a busy community news group on Facebook and on X, adding targeted tags like Valentine's Day, acts of kindness, and our city's name. Then I silenced my phone, fixed a drink, and let the web take over. It happened quickly. By morning, the clip had gone viral. It racked up countless shares. The community page featured it prominently. My image was circulating widely. The feedback poured in overwhelmingly supportive. This exemplifies true character in a partner. His former girlfriend must be regretting it deeply. She let go of someone remarkable. I contributed to Haven House inspired by you, Alex. Thanks for the motivation. The narrative had a clear protagonist, me, a clear antagonist, the unnamed insensitive ex, and a noble beneficiary. It was ideal for spreading rapidly. By late morning, media outlets were contacting me nonstop for interviews about the Valentine's kindness story. I turned them all down gracefully, noting I preferred privacy. This, naturally, enhanced my image of quiet integrity. Jessica's initial outreach arrived near midday. A short, bewildered message. Everyone's messaging me. What happened? I ignored it. Soon after, she rang. I sent it to voicemail. Her recording was a mix of bewilderment, fury, and denial. Alex, what's all this? Her tone strained with barely contained anger. My mother just phoned wondering if we've split. That clip is all over. You gave away my pendant, the one meant for me. You had no authority. Contact me immediately. Her pendant, one she'd never laid eyes on, never worn, never known existed. The outright claim of possession was astonishing. I remained silent. I anticipated her escalation. I knew anger alone wouldn't suffice. It would become a full online battle. And I was prepared. Update 2. Her retaliation launched that same afternoon. Blocked from reaching me personally, Jessica shifted to her strongest ground. Her social platforms. She uploaded an extended, emotional post on Instagram, paired with a misty-eyed photo. It was largely invented. She portrayed a small argument leading to my alleged spiteful, calculated video designed to shame her publicly and cast her as cruel. She insisted the pendant had already been gifted to her, and that I'd taken it back solely for my attention-seeking stunt. Her circle rallied instantly, amplifying her version. He's long been domineering and unstable. This is the pattern she's endured. This isn't generosity, it's manipulation. Manipulation. Don't buy his facade. She prioritized friends for one evening, and he responds like this? Total warning sign. They aim to reverse roles, positioning me as abuser and her as sufferer. It was a solid tactic, except it rested on fabrications. And I possessed proof. I avoided direct confrontation. That would escalate unnecessarily. Instead, I awaited contact from a regional online journalist who'd published a favorable piece on my gesture. When she asked for my response to the claims, I provided a measured reply, plus 2 key documents. My reply was brief. These untrue claims disappoint me, though they don't shock me. My goal was solely to convert personal setback into benefit for a deserving organization. The choice to part ways followed a Valentine's message from my then-partner, canceling our evening. Regarding the pendant, it remained with me until presented to Haven House's director. The first item, a dated receipt screenshot showing my purchase that morning. The second, a capture of her cancellation message from the same day. The journalist revised her post swiftly. The updated title was pointed. Valentine's kindness stars former partner claims theft. Evidence reveals otherwise. It outlined the sequence clearly. Purchase at 10 a.m., her message at noon. Donation at 3 p.m. The irrefutable order shredded her version. The web, briefly swayed, swung back fiercely against her. Her post's replies turned brutal. So you're upset he contributed a pendant you weren't aware of after you ditched him on Valentine's? The self-importance is off the charts. Lady, you didn't drop the ball. You incinerated it for charity. This is peak self-sabotage, becoming the city's most disliked figure overnight. But I had another step. I'd suspected the girl's night wasn't accurate. Her overreaction and desperate falsehoods suggested more. That donation day, I engaged a private investigator. I supplied her friends details and one task: determine their actual locations Valentine's evening. Results came fast. Via transaction records and location tags, 2 friends were indeed dining together at a fashionable spot. But Jessica was elsewhere, at a pricier, cozier venue across town. Not solo. With her former partner, Ben, a man she'd insisted was long over. The investigator secured a discreet photo of them clasping hands over dinner. I retained it as backup, my final safeguard. I held it for the perfect timing. Final update. The concluding chapter was Jessica's gradual, total unraveling. Following her online exposure, she deactivated her accounts. But the fallout lingered. The tale was too compelling. She turned into a local outcast. Her supporters, who'd fueled her attack, distanced themselves. They avoided the taint, claiming privately she'd misled them, unaware of her real plans with Ben. Her career followed. In public relations, image is critical. Her employer, inundated with backlash, parted ways discreetly weeks later. Jobless, isolated, and shunned. Worst came via family. Her parents, once fiercely protective, were embarrassed. Their daughter had invited mockery to their reputation. Report reached me that her father, a notable entrepreneur, lost business due to the association. They issued demands, secure employment, cover her expenses, and issue a public apology to me. She declined, gripping her fading victim role. So they removed support. For the first time, she faced independence fully. No funds, no position, no residence. Thus, roughly 2 months post that pivotal Valentine's, she appeared at my doorstep. Late evening, nearing midnight. She appeared drained, a shadow of her prior self-assured demeanor. The demanding woman I'd dated vanished, replaced by exhaustion and vulnerability. She began with sobs, regrets, vows of transformation. She admitted her grave error, that Ben was insignificant, that her feelings for me were genuine. I allowed her several minutes to speak. When finished, I said nothing initially. Simply displayed the restaurant photo on my phone, her and Ben, hands linked. Her composure shattered. Every deception exposed. I know it all, Jessica, I stated calmly. From the start. She pleaded then, urgently seeking temporary shelter, some financial help to stabilize. I shook my head. You had stability, I said. A partner who cherished and supported you, and you exchanged it for an evening with your past. Your decision, now face its outcome. I shut the door, leaving her outside. My response wasn't truly about the pendant. It was demonstrating true worth. She prioritized fleeting excitement over enduring commitment. I chose dignity over a foundation of deceit. Ultimately, we each received precisely what our choices merited.